Welcome to the EdUp Experience. I am your host, Nicole Poff, and I am so excited about today's guest. We chatted a couple of weeks ago, and this guest is a gift, truly. He is such a good leader, so thoughtful in his approach, and I am really excited to just dig in. So, we're going to get right into it. With us, I have such a good guest, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. So thank you so much for being here. Before we jump into things, can you tell our listeners more about your background, what led you to your current role? You work at UMass. Um, just anything you think is pertinent for our listeners to know.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm really glad to be with you. My name is Slava Yurchenkov. I'm the manager of instructional design at UMass Amherst. Prior to that, my long story short is that I've got two degrees. The first one is in Russia. I'm a teacher of English and history. And then I decided to get another degree, master's degree from UMass Amherst from in the United States. I've got two grants from Russian government and from the United States. Studied from 2016 to 2018 here in the United States. Did my internship with Volvo Group, and then I came back to Russia to work in the one of the most famous corporate universities there. And there, I managed the research group of instructional designers. We supported instructional designers in the company, 70 plus people. And then we also supported more than 50,000 people in Russia. We established the EduTech Club community where we share best practices on how to use different instruction design models. I was chief editor of the magazine EduTech, the host of the online seminar, producer of the most famous conference, More Than Just Learning, co-editor of the dictionary for instructional designers. So we did a lot of informational materials for faculty, for instructional designers, e-learning developers. And I did this for 6 years there. And then I decided to come back here to the United States. I applied to green card. This is the extraordinary ability green card was approved. And since 2024, I live and work in the United States. As I mentioned, I'm the manager of instructional design here at UMass, and I manage a group of instructional designers. We help faculty here to develop highly effective courses. We also develop research materials to upskill and develop faculty. And yeah, that's my story really briefly. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad you're here. You're such a gift to us. And you are a gift to this podcast. So I am just excited to really jump into it because when you and I talked, I just kept thinking, man, it would be working for this guy would be amazing and being able to collaborate with this guy would be amazing because in such a short amount of time, you've done so much just in a very intentional way. And I think sometimes in higher ed, we just get stuck. We don't know left, right, which way to go. And you have really, really good instincts and strong strategy skills that strategically lead your team. So we're going to get into it. When you first arrived at UMass, you mentioned that there was a lot of work to do. So tell us about that. What did the first few weeks or months look like, and how did you start to make sense of what needed to change?
Well, when I started last year in August, the group that I work for, the instruction design engagement and support, there was a lot of history, a lot of achievements, but still we needed to have a strategy about what other teams in this unit will be doing because we have instructional media lab, we have faculty engagement team, instructional designers, media production team, and we also have Center for Teaching and Learning, which is a separate unit. and we need to find this. I needed to find a strategy on how to collaborate with these folks because they're also doing really great stuff, and the goal is to explain to our faculty members what's the difference between ideas group and CTL, right? So in my case, I'm really glad that I have the corporate experience in terms of, how to search, how to develop instructional designers, how to work with faculty, especially because of the EduTech Club, where we work with different external people from higher education, from different companies. So my initial idea was not to jump in right away and make changes in the unit, but to explore, right? We had to create this strategy. During my interview with my manager, I kind of heard that they need someone who can guide people, who can explain the idea why we're moving towards that goal. So my goal was first to develop the strategy. I was able to work with all the teammates from my team to get their perspective, what they've done previously, as they call this historically. And then we conducted research what other institutions are doing. And it came really clear that we needed some new projects specifically here in my instructional design group because again, my goal was to make sure that instructional designers will do instructional design work, learning technology experts will help faculty with learning technology stuff, and we will, if there is a case where we need to collaborate together and do some joint consultations, yes, we can definitely do this together. So I found out that we didn't have any research projects or we didn't have the established instructions and consultation process, and that was the first step that we needed to create a couple of foundations, as I call them, to offer something to our faculty members. So it took us, I would say, roughly 6 or 7 months to establish the new instructional design consultation process. So we've developed, unified forum with folks with instructional media lab so that faculty can clearly see that if they need support with course design, with development learning objectives to see how, to make sure that their course is accessible, they request help from instructional designers. This is the forum, these are the questions that we have, and we can then have appointment and help faculty members. If they have questions about how to use Canvas, or let's say we have a lot of LTIs here at UMass and how to use that LTIs, this is another team that can handle these cases. So my goal was to help my folks to understand that this is our priority, this is what we will be doing. And then, because my instructional design team is not developing courses for students, the goal was to create some, foundations for faculty, some courses for them in terms of how to make sure that their online course is accessible, right? So we now have this program, Accessible U, which is a really great program. Then the next program that we developed, the U Design in Canvas. This online course is about how to lay out your online courses in Canvas, how to choose the right image, how to write clear text, right? So the goal of the strategy that my team and I were able to develop is that we were moving towards the development of ecosystem of projects. We have services, we have online courses, we have workshops that I tie to those online courses, right? We have some research materials, like inspirational materials. We launched the new EdTech Ideas Digest here in the unit that we share both internally and externally. And we also launched the seminar series, kind of upskilling events for faculty, for both external and internal faculty, where we discuss specific topic in instructional design. And we can invite people from UMass Amherst, like faculty who can share their cases. We can invite external experts, people from CTL at UMass and from other institutions. So basically, ecosystem of projects is the key for our group, and it looks like it works.
That is so much in 6 to 7 months. Like, That's a lot. When you're like, "Oh, we've just been doing this for 6, 7 months." That is a lot of projects and just intentional navigation, and I almost see this as like a rebranding, and I don't know if that's the correct way to think about this, but a lot of times instructional design teams, they just sit in like a corner of the institution, right? Hoping that faculty come and utilize their services, and they're begging and they're waiting and they're trying to kind of fill the time. And you took this radically different approach where you're like, we're going to, like you said, build the systems so that there's multiple funnels for faculty of different expertise and different needs to get to you guys, not just a here's our one door. You guys basically made many doors for faculty.
Hmm.
So, in a relatively short time, because I will say 6 to 7 months, especially in higher ed where everything moves at probably a snail's pace, you guys have built a really high functioning team, redesigned core processes. What do you think? What's the secret sauce? What do you think made that transformation possible?
Well, first, I think number one is that I clearly noticed that the executive team trusted my instincts. Yes, I know their expectations, but I was able to share the strategy with them, and that strategy was instantly approved. In terms of, let's say, the Executive Digest project or seminar project where we needed some vendors, we needed some funding, imagine I came in August, which is fiscal year 2025, right? No budget for those projects. We were able to find money to cover those needs, and that's why the projects were launched, right? This is number one. Number two, I think, is the way how my team members, I will say, trusted me. It was the adventure for me to to enter this unit with team members and work with them. Yes, we had some people who left my team. We hired new people. That's normal, right? I will not hide that it took me some time to hire new people to build a team, but then we established a couple of internal processes here with my team. We have regular team building meetings where we discuss something personal. Let's work more, like we discuss our interests, and this way it helps me to understand what they really need, what they really want, right? We also establish, and during those personal meetings, I was able to introduce the strategy presentation where we took some time to explore what we have so far and what we will have in a couple of months, and who is doing what, and that was the opportunity for team members to give their perspectives in terms of what needs to be improved, right? Another secret sauce is that we established the values in our team, a set of rules that my team developed separately, and we have these rules. Everyone has this set of values and rules on their desk. How we work, we're not hiding anything. If we need to take vacation, we plan that, and we're not surprising other team members with extra work. We kind of talk, right? We share. We are trying to be not trying. We are professionals. We behave like professionals, right? So it is critical for managers to help to develop those values. And every 3 months, I send this anonymous survey to my team members so that we can revisit those values, and they can tell me how they personally follow those values and how they believe the team is following those values, or what needs to be revisited, right? So revisited. So every 3 months we're doing this. This is helpful. Another secret sauce is the goal setting. Is I'm trying to help my team members to think like investors.
Hmm.
We need to find long-term metrics, not just I've completed this project, that's it. But I've completed this project and this is the value. This is the success story from faculty member. This is success story from student, right? This is the number of faculty members who tell us that they will recommend our courses, right? So these are numbers that show the impact and the value of our work, not just the completion of the project, which is really critical. It is a mind shift, I guess, here at UMass, but this is the way how corporate people work. I mean, at that corporate university that I used to work for, we use a lot of metrics to showcase the value of the seminar or the magazine or our conference. So I'm trying to establish the same logic here. It takes time. It will take us more than 6 months, right?
Yep.
But I think because of that, I noticed progress, and I noticed that let's say when we establish goals, I help my team members to realize what trainings they need in terms of professional development and how those trainings are aligned with the goals that they will be completing during the year, right? Um, you know, uh, how often they need to meet with me. Some people prefer to meet with me weekly. We have weekly one-on-one. Some people prefer to meet twice a month. At the same time, we have stand-ups where all team members meet with me and we share the news, we share the project statuses, we use Asana to track all the projects. Everything is clear. You can see this on those boards. So we follow different project management strategies here, and again, they just work fine. And I recently had conversations with my evaluation conversations with my team members, and I noticed they mentioned that there is a lot of positive changes in the way how they work, which is a good sign, right?
Absolutely. I love all of your tips are great. I mean, I think definitely thinking for instructional designers, thinking about the impact, the ROI, right? That is not normal. That's not a normal thought. We're not taught that in school, right? When we go to an instructional design program, we're never taught to think about how we communicate our value to the stakeholders. But on the flip side of that, I think it's really smart because so many institutions, organizations, when it's time to make cuts, instructional design is a really easy place to cut from like a strictly budgetary standpoint, right? Because they're not bringing in new revenue. Um, and so if you guys can continue to show your impact, I think it's really a good way to help make sure that you guys stay, stay put and have the opportunity to where you don't have to face those hard conversations of I need to cut my budget staff by 20%, right? You as a leader are thinking, how do I keep us relevant so that all of my team is here for the long haul, not only helping faculty, but really helping students. At the end of this, right, the students are the ones who benefit from this faculty and instructional design collaboration. It's not us, it's the students who see better courses, more clear prompts, right? More improved navigation in the LMS. Like the students are the ones who reap all the benefits of this, but it's not always that easy to make those comparisons. So I love that. But something I really love about just your style, you came in new to this group, right? A new leader to this group. And so quickly you built a team that was really centered around trust, listening, collaboration. Not easy to do, especially when you have a strategy. You let your employees lead so much, but you also have a strong strategy. How do you do that? How do you build trust while also executing a strategy? Sometimes those can feel like they're, in direct opposition of each other, or letting the team lead can feel like it's an opposition of the strategy. So how do you balance that personally?
Well, I think it's all about experience because when I first became a manager in 2019, I was not ready for that role, right? I didn't know how to manage people. I didn't know how to build the trust. So it took some time to realize that. It took some time, some courses, and then you just need to understand people. You need to understand that they are here for not just to get a paycheck, but there is a purpose behind that here, right? It's about this is where you need to use that one-on-ones with your employees with a purpose. You need to listen. We my team members, they have kind of a template that they use when they meet with me, and I have access to these templates, how we discuss progress during the meetings, like some business achievements in terms of projects, right? Difficulties, professional development, additional questions, right? So they tell you a lot of stories, and you reflect on that stories, and you're not telling them what and how to do. You try to coach them. You ask questions. Sometimes you have to tell them what to do, but that's what I told my to my team, that hey, if you want to discuss something with me, if you're not sure about something and you want to share this with me, bring some options, up to 3 options. Let me choose, and let me choose and explain why I'm choosing this, right? So this way they have the freedom to think about, let's say, the options, to think about how they're going to succeed in these projects and what questions they have. They can question me like, hey, I think we have to move towards this option, but I'm not sure because one, two, three. Or I suggest us to move with this option because one, two, three. And it's either I agree or I disagree, and I explain why, right? So this, I guess, this builds trust because with the right questions, I feel like I ask right questions. Maybe sometimes I'm not asking the right questions, and that's fine. People can tell me I disagree with you, because this way I'm learning from my team, that I need to improve my management style with them. People are different, but I mean, these types of conversations, questions, and expectations between, the way how I communicate with them, and the expectations I have for them, how I expect them to work with me. I think this is the secret sauce of how to build trust with my team.
I love the bring me three ideas, because you know what I also thought of is I thought of how oftentimes faculty and instructional designers are working together, and maybe the faculty wants to do something this way, but the instructional designer knows that maybe that's not a sound, instructional strategy, or there's some accessibility issues, or maybe it's just written really weird, or for a variety of reasons, maybe it's not the greatest option. And sometimes there can be kind of this power tension, right? Of this is a faculty's course, I'm coming over here. And I think what you're modeling here is how instructional designers can also collaborate more effectively with their faculty too, right? You are showing them, bring me 3 options, let me choose. And I think that strategy would work very well for a faculty member too, right? If there's an instructional designer who is needing to present multiple options, or just potentially change the path of the project, being able to bring 3 options and say, here, faculty member, you pick, right? Like, I think you're modeling, and maybe this is intentional or not, but you're modeling a really good way for the faculty and the instructional designer to work through kind of some of those power dynamics that we see in course design. So I love that a lot. And that actually brings me kind of to my next question, which is about your guys' collaboration with the Center for Teaching and Learning. Um, in most universities, they have a Center for Teaching and Learning. It's called a CETL some places. There's uh, that typically exists, but you guys took it a step further. Can you talk a little bit more about the collaboration across the university, and kind of specifically with that Center for Teaching and Learning? And then I think you had mentioned the Ideas Group. Just share a little bit more about how you guys collaborate outside of your carved out space.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of stories, inside and outside, right? So, let's start with the ideas group. We have, as I mentioned, a couple of different teams in the ideas group. Instructional Media Lab, faculty engagement, my team, instructional designers, media production team. We also have LMS administrators. It's not like I intentionally forgot that, but we have this team as well. They help us to manage the Canvas LMS. So let's say the instruction design process that we've established, we worked closely with Instructional Media Lab because initially, before we developed this process, all the requests that faculty sent they went through the Instructional Media Lab. So sometimes Instructional Media Lab could receive instructional design requests, and they're not supposed to receive that request, right? So we had to establish this unified forum where faculty can choose that, again, if I have instructional design case, this is what instructional design group will receive that. But at the same time, we realize that sometimes faculty will, it's not intentionally, but they will hit the wrong button to send the instruction question to IML, Instructional Media Lab, and they will just change the assignment group to instructional designers. But then at the same time, we realize that sometimes faculty will have questions that will be asked to both instructional designers and instructional media lab specialists. So that's why we decided to have joint consultations together. So this is where we establish processes. We have RASI model where we can see who is responsible for what. If we receive the joint consultations, instruction designers will take this faculty as the first step. If we believe that we want to have appointment with both instruction designer and IML specialist, we have a special chat where we discuss that. So we pick the right date. We meet with our faculty, with both experts from different teams. This is collaboration story number one. Collaboration story number two. We have program for faculty. We call it Course Design Institute. So basically, we help UMass faculty to develop online courses for our students. So we collaborate with Instructional Media Lab faculty engagement team, media production team, and instructional designers because this program has two phases. First, we have phase one, which is a workshop phase where we all facilitate workshops. And then phase two is where only instructional designers have 5 dedicated meetings with faculty members during, the timeline for that is 3 months, right? But initially when I started, I didn't notice that instructional designers were involved in workshop facilitation phase, and I suggested that might be a good timing to change that, because this way, when instruction designers facilitate something, they promote our internal courses, our resources, they build trust during phase one. There is no reason to wait for phase two and start building trust there, because imagine how stressful for faculty it is to go through phase one and then have a dedicated meeting with instructional designer, and imagine this faculty member has 15 years experience, and then there is an instructional designer who will tell them how to teach, how to develop courses. That's not how we want to, to work with faculty, because, they might push back, right? So that's why we bring instructional designers. During phase one, we help faculty engagement team with additional content that we develop. We are not forcing them to use our content, but we are sharing some additional information from the digest, from the seminars, and it's up to our team, faculty engagement team, to pick this content or not. In most cases, we notice that they are happy to take this information. This is another type of collaboration, right? Same with media production team. When we develop courses like Accessible U course or U Design and Canvas course, we are thinking about promoting these courses to our faculty. So now one of my team members, they work with media production team to create some teasers about the program. So they create videos together. The goal is to create UMass branded videos inside the course. So that's another way of how we work together towards one goal, right?
Yep.
And Center for Teaching and Learning. Um, it is about the way how you build trust with this unit as well. Center for Teaching and Learning at UMass Amherst has so many powerful, smart experts, and I actually really interested in working with them um, and co-facilitate workshops together, right? We recently launched our online seminars, and one of the seminars was about active learning strategies. And we invited an expert from CDL to share their knowledge about active learning. So this is the way how we collaborated together. And I feel like in the future, that's my goal, to have even more collaboration with this center, because again, they are powerful. They have a lot of experience. They can help to promote our products and share knowledge. We can help to share their knowledge and products with faculty members, because again, we have only one goal, right? We have one mission: to provide accessible, highly effective education to our students. There is no reason to compete, right? So that's the way how I feel about collaboration with CTL. In terms of accessible U course, about accessibility, we work with ATC group, Assistive Technology group. They also, um, we will facilitate workshops with them, facilitate some conferences together. They will promote our courses. We will promote their services. Same with faculty development unit. We will find. I'm sure we will find solutions. We are having a meeting with them in a week about the way how we can collaborate together. One of the ideas, we can collaborate in terms of accessibility, right? So we can share the courses, we can share some additional materials from a Tech Ideas Digest, we can create emails together and share with faculty. So we can, I'm sure we can find some solutions. And then the next step of collaboration is the way how we work with faculty from different schools. The goal is to work with department chairs, heads, and see how we can be included in their meetings, so that we, provide personalized support. That, hey, we noticed that this is the need for your courses. We're not saying that you're doing something wrong, but we are saying that we can help you to improve your class. Here are the resources. Here's the service. Just submit us your ticket, and we can take care of you. So this is the type of collaboration that we are moving toward right now.
There's so much. And again, it's such a smart strategy to just let, your strategy have some legs to grow across the institution. A lot of times I find, I talk to people a lot about their institutions and their collaborations. Instructional design groups, typically the Center for Teaching, they're fine collaborating. Career Services is always happy to collaborate with instructional designers and faculty anywhere where they can get a seat. Um, the one area I feel like, this is where I'm going, that instructional design groups feel like they have a really hard time breaking into or working with is faculty. Program chairs are bought into the vision of why we need instructional designers, deans and provosts, all of them are. But faculty, for some reason, there is, it's just not as easy with faculty. And it makes sense. There's a lot at stake. It feels like a threat. We could spend an entire podcast talking about the dynamics. But, there's oftentimes tension between innovation, which is what instructional design is seen as, and then this idea of traditional course design, these legacy items. How do you or your team help faculty make those meaningful changes without overwhelming them or making them feel discouraged?
hmm Well, since the one of the most critical programs for us is this Course Design Institute. We call it CDI. when we work with faculty members, we have a set of templates. The first meeting that we have with faculty members is more about their needs. We have this needs assessment document where we have, trust me, thousands of questions that we want to ask our faculty. We want to understand what they want first, like how they envision their course, how many students they're gonna teach, what their expectation about their course is, and then we slowly start, bringing those ideas, like what if, how about we do this? We notice that your syllabus needs to, we need to do some improvements there, accessibility improvements. How about we start using this recommended template, right? Or we also notice that your course structure is not that easy, because I felt like when I was trying to complete a course, I felt like I'm a student and it was really difficult to navigate. How about we do this, right? And we have a template for that. And we kind of slowly help faculty to see that there is a room for improvement. We're not telling them to improve. We just say, how about? And some faculty tell us, yeah, you're right. Actually, I have some feedback from students. They found the course navigation really difficult, and I just don't know where to start. And that's where we, start now, right? Uh, since we have seminars, courses, and Ethics Digest, these are all inspirational materials. We try to, again, to put them in this ecosystem. We understand that they are busy. And that's why we're not just telling them, hey, there is a course, enroll and complete it. We basically share that with them specific course page, and we tell them, hey, what if you explore this page about course navigation? You can see some do and don'ts examples, and you'll probably see how you can implement those suggestions in your course, right? Or here's some suggestions on how to improve your learning objectives. And by the way, you can use AI to help you to improve that. We don't want you to ask AI to create learning objectives for you, right? Think of AI as a tool that will help you, and we show examples how to use AI to improve learning objectives, or we show examples of how to use AI to generate some assessments or some projects, right? And our goal is to build trust with faculty during meeting one. And since we have 5 meetings, I see that faculty, they don't have any problems with my instructional designers. We send them surveys after meeting 5, and I see that 100% faculty members would like to recommend instructional design consultation process to their colleagues. It's a good sign, right? Even though if someone tells us, I don't like your service, so then that's my job to explore and work with them to find out what went wrong, right? So again, we're not punishing instruction designers here. We are all learning here. So bad feedback is always a good feedback, right? Because you can learn from that feedback and you can see how you can improve the process. Since we launched the instructional design consultation process, we haven't received any terrible reviews from faculty. All feedback was positive. Same with CDI. We have a lot of positive feedback. At the same time, we had questions about what one thing you'd like us to improve in the process, or maybe what one idea you would like to bring to our attention. And they always share some ideas, and trust me, we implement those ideas. Not all, but we implement some of those ideas in the process. So that's, I think, how we work with faculty. Again, yes, there are tensions, pushbacks. We take it slow. We we're trying to build trust. We use empathy. We know that they experience faculty members, and we keep telling them, you know what? Even though you're a professor, you are the instructional designer as well. We are colleagues together. Yes, I'm the instructional designer here, but you're also the instructional designer. We have this friendly conversation on what needs to be improved. It's your choice. You can take it or you can leave it, right? I suggest you to take it. But if you feel there is another option, let's discuss. And that's how you build this trust. And that's how uh, this is where the buy-in is, right? This is why I feel like when I review the reports from instruction designers about the CDI course completion, I see the homepage before and I see the homepage after the work with instructional designer. And trust me, in almost all cases, I see that there is a change. So it looks like we are doing the right thing.
That's so amazing. I really appreciate this idea of a system for the faculty, right? I think about like if you were to go to a doctor's office because your knee hurt, and they're like, okay, well, we have to start over here. We have to check all your blood panels, do a brain scan, all this. And you're like, wait, but my knee over here is what hurts. And I wonder if sometimes we treat our faculty the same way, not UMass, just as an industry where an instructional design team has a set workflow that must be worked through, right? A faculty comes and we go through these steps very systematically, and it's our agenda versus their agenda. And you guys have built this, I mean, I'm going to say like wraparound service like we have for students, right? You guys have built this wraparound service for faculty where you're thinking about what are their needs, how can we best support them versus what do we want to make sure they know. Like you guys are flipping it around and making it all about the faculty versus okay, we have 5 sessions with them, we need to have a dedicated agenda for all 5 sessions to make sure they learn everything we want them to learn. You guys have flipped that on your head, which I think is probably why I would imagine the results are so good, is because you guys are paying attention to their needs and what they're trying to do for the students and approaching it in a much different way than a lot of the rest of the industry.
I'd like to add some additional information in terms of the way how we work with faculty. So for the phase two consultation process, we have a SANA board. We have faculty cards. We track how much time we spent with faculty member. We have so much data that we can use to show that we invested 15 hours in this faculty member. This is their self-evaluation before a CDI program. This is their self-evaluation after CDI program, right? Yes, we have agendas. At the same time, all our templates clearly state that we have to be flexible here. We don't have to stick to this agenda, especially because faculty needs might be different. So if this specific faculty tells us, hey, I need this and this and this, we will slightly change the agenda for the second meeting. We will not stick to that. I'm not controlling the way how my instruction designers change that agenda. They work, I trust them. At the same time, we have a set of documents that they need to complete. The QM rubric, the needs analysis document, so we can clearly see all the logs, the way how they interacted with faculty. We have checklists, what to do when you finish the meeting, how to move the cards, what to send to this faculty member, what to say, what not to say. So we have set of processes and guidelines with the best practices of how to interact with faculty, and it works.
You have my wheel spinning. As someone who owns a company of instructional designers, you have my wheels spinning about how we can redesign some processes. And because what I'm also hearing in this is you're not only supporting faculty, you're supporting your instructional designers with these systems in place, with these Asana boards and these templates. You're making it easier for the instructional designers to reduce their cognitive load of I need to remember all these things. It's easy. They just follow it. They can focus on that relationship. They can focus on the conversations because you've reduced that need to remember all the things by clear processes. So you're
Exactly.
inspiring me to come back and really think about how I do things with my company too. So thank you for just being so intentional with that. Um when you think about the progress your team has made so far, what are you most proud of?
There's so much I'm proud of, and let me prioritize now. I'm proud of the team culture. This is kind of the first that comes to my mind because even though I'm keep telling you about this process of this checklist, trust me, all of those checklists were developed by my team members. They, even though I spent some time to review those checklists and provide my feedback, my suggestions, that's actually their work, right? All the guidelines, all the checklists, all the agendas, that's what they developed. And this is what I'm proud of. They realize that they have this authority to create this data and use that in real life. I had to create Asana and Asana process, and one of my team members helped me to create the project management process. And now we're using the exact same forms. When we start the new project, we complete the project passport. All the projects that we have here at UMass, in my group, we have project passports with the same consistent information. What is this project about? What is the business objective? What's the objective is? What's the timeline for that? And then once this project passport is approved, we move it to Asana. I'm proud of that as well, and I'm proud that we launched some of the coolest projects for faculty, not only for UMass faculty, but for external audiences as well, right? The seminar project, which is a really great stuff. I mean, we were lucky enough to invite Dr. Richard Mayer, with no budget.
Yeah.
So he joined our seminar, the first seminar in February, and it was a really great seminar. He trusted us, and he trusted our project. And my goal is to help my instructional designers to invite even more such great professionals for our future seminars. But I'm proud of this project. I'm proud of the Tech Ideas Digest project, which is a really successful inspirational research project for faculty, both again externally and internal faculty members. I'm proud of the way how my team members work together to create the successful projects. Right? I think that's what I'm proud of.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Last question. We're wrapping up. What advice would you give to someone who is stepping into a similar role? They see a lot of opportunity for change, but they need to start somewhere. What advice would you give them?
Well, number one, understand your executive. Your executive is your best friend. They can share some secrets, um, and well, they will never tell you the right answers. They will never tell you how to do your work, right? But they will give you some hints that you can use to succeed. Number two, so again, to number one, understand your executive, become their best friend, use the executive present, the executive language, because the language I'm using with my team is slightly different with the language I'm using with executives here at UMass. Especially because of my corporate experience, I work with executives and I know what kind of information they needed from me and what format they wanted from me. They don't want long email stories. They want bullet points, data, clear data. Get to the point, right? That's my suggestion number one. Number two, don't afraid to try something out. Even with a strategy, always offer new ideas. Sometimes it's really tough that you will have to make the decisions that maybe your team might not agree with. That's okay. So your second step is always to do some research and create a strategy. Because with this strategy, you will know why you're here, why you're doing this work, and it will be easier for you to explain to your team why you create these goals for them, what's the success might look like in a couple of months. If you don't have a strategy, most likely you will fail. But then connecting to my first suggestion to work with your executive and try to understand them, understand what their priorities are. They will tell you a lot of hints and secrets, but again, they will not tell you how to do your job, right? You will tell them, hey, this is the strategy, these are my options. Yes, they will destroy your strategy, but it is for better for you to receive a lot of feedback from your executive so that you can improve the strategy. But then if you have strategy, you are happy, your executive is happy, and your team is happy because you guys all know what you're doing. I think these are my two suggestions.
Those are great suggestions. I think leaning into your executive team is really smart because sometimes someone comes in and they're like, "Oh, I know exactly what I want to do," and they're not paying attention to the other side of what do the executives want to see? What do they see as success? I think part of your secret sauce here too that I'm just going to say is your ability to connect with others to build trust. I think that that has permeated through your own team, through the institution, through how your instructional designers now work with faculty, right? Like you lead by example up here and everyone else kind of follows suit. I think if you were a different leader, you wouldn't be seeing the same results because your team wouldn't be motivated to do the work. Your team wouldn't be showing the faculty the same respect you're showing them, right? You are leading by example in all the things. And so naturally, it's easy for your team to follow suit throughout the university. So I think your ability to prioritize trust and your team has positioned you really, really well too. It's been so much fun. I think you're such a good leader. I think your team is really lucky to have you. You've shared so many good tips, very practical strategies um, for how a team could, rework their approach to working with an institution, how a manager can re approach how they work with their team. So I thank you for this gift of almost an hour of your time because it has been really, really good. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.